Welcome back to Flint Hills Briar. I'm Gareth. Just sitting out in the back garden again this on another lovely October morning. Starting out lovely, but this afternoon it's supposed to get up to like 89 or 90 or something Fahrenheit. It's ridiculous, obviously Fahrenheit, but I think after today it's supposed to cool off more, stay more cooled off. I'm having some Galworth Hogarth and Company bosun cut plug. It's one of those blends that you have to like Lakelands to like this one. It's very Lakeland-esque. Kind of struggling to get it going very well, though. I like this one. It has quite a bit of flavor to it. And I'm having some Earl Grey tea. So yeah, I'm pretty much going all out with the botanical flavors out here this morning. Figured why not? If I could just get this thing going. There we go. Hopefully it stays going. But yeah, so we're like about 11 days out from Halloween, 10, 11 days out. And I started thinking about some thoughts this morning and figured I'd share them for anybody that cares to listen. I have kind of a complicated history with the celebration of Halloween. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some things that my dad thought about Halloween, and I'm not complaining. I love my dad a lot. I think my dad has been a really wonderful father. I don't really have any complaints. But this is kind of, you'll see what I mean. And I don't want to complain about my childhood either. I didn't have the easiest, whatever I mean by that, it was a great childhood, pretty much an ideal childhood, I would say, although, not exactly perfect, but not meaning it was full of bad stuff. It's just, maybe some people have some more spoiled childhoods or whatever, and I'm not saying that's a good thing, but mine wasn't like that, and I'm glad it wasn't. But my family, we are a what I would call an Orthodox Roman Catholic family. By that I mean that we were, and most of us still are, kind of like your good standard practicing, believing Catholics. But at the same time, we weren't like growing up. We weren't kind of like religious nut job. We weren't like a nutty religious sort of family. Our faith was important to us and all that sort of thing. But, we wasn't really like a lot of stuff we weren't allowed to do because of supposed religious reasons, anything like that. Which I think among Catholics, that's pretty common, that's not really a problem. But anyway, my dad has always been very, his faith's always been very important to him, and he's put a lot of attention into it, which I really think everybody should. But he definitely saw his job as a father to share that faith with his kids and kind of be the religious head of the family. So that's the background we, come from. Might have to give up on just try to get this lit and talking, but so when I was in my younger childhood, we definitely celebrated Halloween. Dressed up, went trick or treating, did that whole thing. Even before I can remember. And when I was first few years of grade school, I remember I really loved Halloween because it was just a fun time. Have good costumes and had a lot of fun time trick or treating and, singing Halloween songs in music class at school and stuff like that. And I just really loved the season. It was just a lot of fun. I love the spookiness of it, and just, it was a fun sort of thing. And, so, that's how it went for, the first number of years of my childhood. And then around the time I was like in fourth or fifth grade, I think it was fourth grade, we had been going to the Catholic school in town, but we switched over to the public school system. And this would have been around 1989, 90. And my dad, I don't know if he started reading some books or something, or where he started thinking about this, but he started kind of researching the whole background of the Halloween celebration and all that. And he really determined that the origins of it were very Celtic, pagan, basically the Celtic pagan celebration of Samhain was pretty much what it had directly stemmed from, he felt, and that it was not something that should really be celebrated. Yes, celebrating, All Saints Day Eve, which is what Halloween is, and that's what the name means. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the celebration of Halloween, such as it is in the United States anyway, was definitely something he didn't think was a good thing. And, even stuff he was absolutely against jack-o'-lanterns because of the whole story, how that came about with Jack, the guy that was just a real scoundrel. I think he was Irish, but he died and he was going to go to hell, but he somehow tricked the devil and kind of outsmarted the devil. And as a punishment, the devil didn't want him in hell either. So he gave him, Jack was banished to wander the dark netherworld or whatever on earth for all eternity. And Satan gave him a burning lump of coal to light his way. And so it wouldn't burn his hands, Jack carved out a turnip. I don't think he probably put a face in it, but put the coal in that, and that's where the whole pumpkin carving thing came from. Well, my dad thought that because that story was what it was, that jack-o'-lanterns weren't a good thing either. And my dad was so adamant of his conclusions about this holiday that he even went to the principal at our school, who was actually the first-year principal. This first year, this guy had been the principal of the school, and this is the first year we were at the school also. And my dad sat down and talked to him, and I believe the principal was a member of the Nazarene Church, which are pretty conservative. I mean, my understanding is they don't they don't like cussing, and I don't think they even really look too favorably on dancing and stuff like that. They're pretty conservative. But anyway, my dad sat down with the principal, and the principal agreed with them, and they basically they changed the in the school you'd have a Halloween celebration, in your classroom you'd have a Halloween party, Not only that, like the school wide, you a lot of times have like a costume parade or whatever, just fun stuff. Well, my dad successfully got the principal to change all that to a fall harvest party. It wasn't a Halloween party. You could still dress up in costumes, but it wasn't supposed to be a Halloween party. But I think that everybody pretty much just kind of like, you know, called it a Halloween party still and just did the same old stuff, which is fine. But my brother, not even that long ago, he said something about, years later, obviously, he said something how like it kind of, he didn't like being the kid in grade school whose dad had been the one who had basically single-handedly ruined the whole Halloween party thing. He didn't really appreciate that. Now, I guess I didn't really have that problem, and I don't know if maybe it's because my classmates didn't know that my dad was behind it or something like that. And I don't know how my brother's classmates knew that dad was behind it, but anyway, we stopped celebrating Halloween at that point in time. So this is like 1989, 1990, something like that. And for years after that, I essentially agreed that, Halloween wasn't really a good sort of thing, basically, because that's what Dad was saying. It was really based on celebrations that weren't really things that Christians really should do. But, we didn't have the porch light on Halloween night, and we weren't giving out candy, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what happened to Halloween in my family. And as I got older, I started, I didn't really feel that I had such a good reason to reject the holiday. Although I don't think it's really a holiday. I think it's more of a kind of a celebration, because I think holidays are things more like Christmas and, holidays like that, Thanksgiving, Easter. But, like one thing, I love Charlie Brown, Snoopy, the Peanuts, and I've always loved the Peanuts Halloween special. I don't think it's not really a special, but it was on TV. It was a special or whatever. The part of that I really loved the most is the whole Snoopy is the World War I flying ace. How he goes after the Red Baron and in his Sopwith Camel doghouse, and he gets shot down. And then there's always the thing I really love about that is that whole sequence where Snoopy or the World War I flying ace, has been shot down. He's been shot down behind enemy lines, and he's making his way through the kind of war-torn French or maybe Belgian countryside, and there's just something about it. It's just I don't creepy is not the right word, but it's like at night and he's sneaking around and it's kind of mysterious, and you hear like the train whistle off in the distance. I just love that part of that thing. So I've always really loved the Peanuts Halloween thing. And but anyway, as years have gone on, I started thinking that maybe Halloween was not something that needed to be rejected in the way that I had kind of been brought up to think it was. And the more I've looked into it, I've really concluded that because there's people, and including, what I would call Orthodox Catholic people, experts who I've not heard any one of them say that, yes, Halloween is an evil thing. It should not be, it should be not celebrated. It should be rejected. You celebrate All Saints Day and All Saints Day Eve, but that's it. Nobody's said that at all. They've said quite the opposite. That yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a fun thing. Somebody did make a good point. I think that if you're putting more effort into decorating your house for Halloween than you are for Christmas, you might need to reevaluate some things. I agree with that point. But yeah, I don't really see it as something that's so taboo like it was kind of led to believe for a long time. But there's like probably tomorrow night, my wife and I are going to go to this. It's not a haunted house. It's actually like a haunted forest, they call it, because you do kind of like go along this trail, and it goes through some trailers that they have parked out there, like an old house and barn and stuff. And it's put on by one of the Lutheran churches that's in a tiny town outside of town here. It's like their big fundraiser for their youth group stuff. We try to go to that every year. It's a lot of fun. We haven't carved pumpkins for like ever. I mean, I don't even know the last time the last time I carved a pumpkin would have been like 15 or 16 years ago. And it was in Boulder, Colorado on Halloween night. And it wasn't but candles, and it was to put on top of your head, and then you'd take off your clothes, and then you'd run down the street. Maybe that's a story for another time. That's an interesting one. But so yeah, I haven't carved a pumpkin in a long time, but I got a couple pumpkins, put them out on the front porch, and Mom and Dad actually came over on last Sunday because they were in town for something. And I don't think it's time to carve them yet. We haven't carved them, but I thought, like, well, I'll put the pumpkins out on the front porch, and as long as they're carved, Dad won't notice anything and whatever. But yeah, that's Halloween. Something that I've kind of come back to not worrying so much about. I have noticed that there are some people who I think, and some people that I would kind of consider internet friends, I guess, who I think that they're a little bit too into Halloween. It's like they're a little too into the whole spooky side of things, and whatever floats your boat. If that's what you're really into, whatever. But I think some people are a little over the top with it. And like these same people are probably not people that really care too much. I'm not saying that they don't celebrate like Christmas, but I think if they had to pick one holiday or the other, they'd probably pick Halloween. Like I said, maybe you should reevaluate your priorities, but whatever. Yeah, but those are some thoughts that were kind of kicking through my head this morning. And a pipe I can't keep lit. I have to work on this without talking, if I can keep it going. But anyway, that's enough for now. Thanks for joining me if you've stayed on this long, especially. But I'm Gareth with Flint Hills Briar. I'll see you next time.